These days, fast performance cars are really, really fast. See, because manufacturers face this pressure to make their new car quicker than the old one and to keep up with one another, they've become obsessed with the pursuit of speed, adding horsepower and complex electronics to shave seconds off Nürburgring lap times. But when speed becomes your top priority, other things get forgotten, like having fun.
But don't worry, there are still a few brands who understand that having fun matters more than going as fast as possible. This is an Abarth 595 Competizione. It's been 11 years now since we first saw the rebooted Abarth 500, and in that time it has become faster and more powerful. But it still only has a 1.4 litre engine that puts out 178 brake horsepower. That's half as much as the fastest hot hatches of today. But at no point while driving it do you wish you had more power, and that's because you're too busy doing this.
Now, what, I hear you ask, is the problem with having more horsepower than you need? It's a fair question after all. My phone has a million features that I never use, and yet I'm not suggesting we all get back on the Nokia bricks. The thing is, really fast cars do have downsides. For one, they don't like being driven not fast. If you have a ton of horsepower, you have to be very careful with the throttle, and very rarely do you really get to drive your car hard and on the limit. You very rarely get to actually scratch the surface of its potential, and that's a shame. Another thing is, when you add horsepower, you have to add other stuff. The fastest hot hatches today have clever four-wheel drive systems designed to help you put the power down, but they add weight. They have clever traction control systems designed to stop you from dying, but what they really do is just prevent you from using all that power that you paid for. Now look, I am playing devil's advocate here to an extent. Obviously, I love the fact that you can go out and buy a 600 horsepower family estate car. It's amazing. Whether they make sense or not, the world is a better place for them, okay? Calm down. All I'm saying is, when you want to have fun on a nice stretch of road, speed is not the thing that matters.
It's easy to give a car lots of power, but it's harder to give a car that specialness that makes every drive feel like an occasion. This is where the little Abarth shines.
So, what makes this car so special? Well, it's a combination of a lot of things really. For one, it's tiny. It's a teeny tiny car, and that means you have more road. So instead of just trying to fit in your lane, you're taking the racing line through corners, you're going in wide, you're kissing apexes. It's so much more fun. Then there's the performance. Now, I know I said this car only has 178 brake horsepower, but giving that much engine to a car this small, it's like strapping a rocket to a roller skate. It feels ballistically quick. And when you combine that with a really quick steering rack and very firm suspension, you get this car that feels up on its toes. It feels highly strung. It feels like a teeny weeny baby supercar. Then there's the delivery of that power. You remember in my last video I was complaining about my Golf GTI being too smooth with its power delivery? Well, this is the exact opposite. The power comes in a big, delicious blob of turbo boosty goodness, and it's hilarious every single time. I'm told this car has traction control, but what it does, I'm not sure. It has a very hands-off approach. Look, there's some wheel spin for you. There's some more. Yeah, no, I don't know what the traction control does. What else do I like in this car? Well, I like all the touchy bits. This wheel's really special, cool badge, Alcantara, carbon fiber. Ooh. Pedals are very nice. The gear stick, look at this. The gear stick is right here. I can almost change gear without taking my hand off the wheel. Feels really nice. I've been driving my Golf a bit since I've had this Abarth, and I keep missing the gear stick because it feels miles away now. Oh, and did I mention the noise? I mean, I'm sure there are other four-cylinder cars that sound nicer than this one, but I can't think of any. All these things combined, the performance, the steering, the noise, they just add up to a car that feels really special all the time. And that's what I love about this car. You don't need a nice B road like we're on now for it to feel exciting. Any gap in traffic is an opportunity to misbehave. And this is a car that encourages misbehavior. Is this car perfect? No. The seat position is ridiculous. I feel like I'm sat on this car, not in it. They're way too high. There's no rear legroom, although of course there's not. It's a tiny little car. Also, the ride is so firm, like so firm. I know it adds to the whole baby supercar thing, but for me it's too much. They went too far with it. Also, and I'm not exaggerating, this car has the turning circle of a medium-sized moon. But that's it. Those are my complaints. And of course you have to make a couple of compromises. This is not an all-rounder. It's a car designed to be as much fun as possible. And for those few compromises, you get a ton of fun. You know, sooner or later, a day will come where car brands look at their performance cars and finally realize that they just don't need to be any faster, that they're already so much quicker than any normal human could ever need. And hopefully when that day comes, they'll return to focusing on the things that do matter, the things that make a car exciting. And when they do that, this is the car they should look for inspiration.